Bloomberg Audio Studios. Podcasts, radio, news.
The Stock Movers Report, your roundup of companies making moves in the stock market, harnessing the power of Bloomberg data.
Let's take a look at some of the stocks on the move today here in Europe. I'm Caroline Hepker with Jamala Basechi, and we're joined by Bloomberg reporter Chloe Millay. Good morning.
Good morning.
Airbus, the plane maker, is seeing some headwinds because of engines. Worried about that. What's the latest on Airbus?
Yeah, well, the Airbus problem is actually more of a Pratt & Whitney problem. The Pratt & Whitney being the supplier of engines to the A320 family of Airbus planes. And that company is not meeting targets, which in turn means that Airbus isn't able to meet their own targets. And the CEO has been quite forceful in his criticism of Pratt & Whitney. He said they had what he called difficult discussions with that supplier and its insufficient rate of engine production. But the fact that the blame doesn't fall on Airbus doesn't change the fact that it won't be able to meet its own production and delivery targets. And that is really dragging the shares down this morning. The problem is that the issue is likely to continue into 2027 as well, and that might lead the gap in performance between Airbus and Boeing to widen even further. We can see that gap already. Airbus deliveries in January were at the lowest level in any month since 2020. But then at the same time, Boeing has delivered the highest number of planes since 2018. So there's a real gap in delivery there, real divergence. And so Airbus is down on the back of that.
And Euronext, they're saying that they expect costs to jump this year, driven by strategic investments and the acquisition of the Athens Stock Exchange. What's been the reaction this morning?
Well, not very positive. The shares are down on the back of that because of those costs rising, and that is the expenses will come in as 100 million euro more than they were in 2025, and this was ahead of what analysts had expected. And as you say, the reason for those costs is because of some strategic investments, so things like adding power futures to the commodities segment and settling cash equities in more countries, but then also costs related to, as you said, the acquisition of the Athens Stock Exchange, which was completed just late last year. So we've got those rising costs. We've got earnings coming in a little softer than expected. And that is leading to that weakness. Euronext was also one of the names that was involved in this AI disruption sell-off, given that it's a provider of data and analytics. But it's not as exposed to the data side. You know, for example, LSEG derives about half of revenue from data. Euronext is just about 15%. And the CEO said he was not too concerned, affected or impacted in any way by this AI threat.
Okay, so that's on Euronext. Meanwhile, Nestlé shares rising with the Swiss food giant's beat on sales growth. What's more in those results?
Yeah, Nestlé is quite optimistic about 2026, said that sales growth will accelerate this year. It seems that 2026 will also be the start of a more efficient organization. So it's in advanced talks to sell its ice cream business. So that's part of a broader strategy of streamlining the portfolio a bit more. The business is also getting reorganized around 4 core divisions, and the company is really doubling down on coffee and pet care as the kind of key segments going forward. It's been a really busy start of the year for the new CEO. He's announced major job cuts. He's reorganizing the business. He's also dealing with this massive infant formula recall that is really hurting sales. But more importantly, it's important to manage that well so that to avoid too much of a reputation hit as well. So it's been a really busy time, and investors are scrutinizing all aspects of this ongoing turnaround for Nestlé. But if we look at the shares, which have been doing quite well this morning, it looks like the market is quite happy with the way things are going so far.
The Stock Movers Report from Bloomberg Radio. Check back with us throughout the day for the latest roundup of companies making news on Wall Street. And for the latest market-moving headlines, listen to Bloomberg Radio live. Catch us on YouTube, Bloomberg.com, and on Apple CarPlay and Android Auto with the Bloomberg Business app.